Hello and welcome to the Catch a Lift Coaches Corner. I'm Cal head coach Melissa, and this week I'm honored to welcome retired U.S. Marine Corps veteran Dan Lasko to the show. Dan is a U.S. Marine Corps veteran, dog enthusiast, and a longtime Cal veteran athlete. Welcome to this week's episode of Coaches Corner. Dan, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
We're so excited to talk to you and get into all of this that we want to unpack with you. Let's jump right in, Dan, and start with what drew you to the Marine Corps?
Wow. So I have a very interesting story. I was a senior in high school in late 2000, early 2001. And, everybody was choosing what colleges they wanted to go to, where they wanted to go. I wanted to do something challenging. And I went to, I remember that our high school had a college fair. They had all different colleges. They had all the branches of services. And, I went to each table. I went to all the colleges. And I thought, I want to do something valuable, something challenging. And I went to all the branches and I found the Marines the most challenging service that they had. So I was like, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to, put my name in. And that's the route I took.
That's terrific. Dan, did you have, family members that had been, in the military prior to you or anything like that?
I did. My grandfather was in Navy and served in the Korean War. So my grandfather, and once he heard I was going to go in the Marines, I mean, we started jabbing back and forth with each other. He wouldn't. He started calling me jarhead already. I wasn't in the service. I wasn't even a Marine yet, and he starts, picking on me. But my grandfather served in the Navy.
Dan, talk to us about September 2001 because this is pretty interesting too. Talk to us about September 2001 and actually going in and enlisting in the Marines and kind of what happened there.
So, everybody remembers where they were September 11th, 2001, that Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
A day prior, Monday the 10th, my recruiter came to pick me up and drove me to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, to the MEP station, the military entrance processing station, to do the final paperwork, get your final physical, all the final details, everything signed off before you leave. So Monday morning, I said goodbye to my mom, my dad, my sister, my girlfriend, a few of my close buddies, and the recruiter knocked on the door, picked me up. We drove to Harrisburg. I stayed at a hotel that night with other guys who were going to serve, all different branches. And woke up early Tuesday morning. A bus came, pick us up, drove us to the MEP station. And, I swore in about 7:30 that morning on Tuesday, September 11th. I raised my right hand to, defend the Constitution. And, I remember that morning very well. And, after, all the different branches, all the recruits, raised our hands, we went to sit down waiting for our different branches to pick us up and drive us to the airport to fly down to wherever we were going. In my case, I was going to Paris Island.
Okay.
And, we came 8 o'clock. We were just watching TV, getting our last snacks in, eating our last chips or whatever, Gatorade or whatever we had at the vending machine, just to stuff our face one last time. And we watched what happened unfold on TV in front of us at the MEP station. We watched first. We watched the first plane. We didn't watch the first plane crash because that's when the news broke that a plane had crashed into one of the towers in New York City, and everybody in the news was like, "Oh, this was an accident. What's going on?" And then we saw the second plane come in, and that's when I get goosebumps right now.
Yeah, I do too. I'm full of them.
All of there were about 40 of us that were going to go serve that just swore in, just watch this unfold. And I remember all the recruiters coming out of all the offices, and they're getting the intel that this was a deliberate attack on our country. All the flights around the country were grounded, and then the plane in Pennsylvania, the plane into the Pentagon. It was a very, very sad moment for our country, and to witness that and knew what path I was going to take along with these other men and women. It it's something that you can't make up, that was the story, that's the beginning of
Right.
my service. So after, after all the planes were grounded and we were told we were going home, my recruiter from my area came back to Harrisburg to pick me up, drove me back home, and to find a way that I could get down to Paris Island, because I had a reporting date of I think it was Wednesday. That next Wednesday, I had to report in, and there was no way I was going to get down there. And they gave me a couple days. I gave them a couple days, well, each other, to figure out how that was going to
Right.
happen. And I remember my dad coming up to me and handing me a check to go and go to community college. And I said, I turned him down. I said, what happened to our country now? I think we need more guys and women to, step up. And I think our country needs just more than ever to defend the country of what happened. And I ended up taking a Transbridge bus from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, all the way down to Paris Island, South Carolina. It was about like a day and a half trip that, with stops included,
Right.
that, to get down there and then report in for 3 months of boot camp.
So, I mean, I know when I asked this, obviously September 11th, it changed all of us in some way, right? All of our thinking, and just, it rattled, we didn't know what was going on initially. So I can't think of a more unique time for an OEF kind of post 9/11 vet to have joined than right on the day of actually September 11th, like literally you're sworn in and then the planes and everything happens. Were you able to recognize, or was there kind of a shift in your mindset or your thinking, like as you got to boot camp and your training? Do you think that your mentality had kind of changed?
It definitely did. Again, when I made a decision to join the service, it was peacetime. It was
Right.
and my parents were excited that, hey, this is awesome.
Yeah.
You found something to do. You found something that's going to keep you busy and active and all that good stuff. But once this happened, it not only did it change my mindset, in boot camp, but it changed the Marine Corps mindset of how they're going to train the recruits now in that month. And it was an intense 3 months of training. And I remember our senior drill instructor coming out saying, there's I think there was 60 some recruits in my platoon, and the DIs came out saying, this group is probably going to see war in the next, so many years because of what happened on a few weeks ago. So yeah, I mean, my mindset changed. The military's mindset changed to get these recruits that just swore in to get ready to go to battle.
That's really something. And I imagine that would have had to have been such a unique experience, at your basic training and then, going on to your skills school. Because, right, those drill instructors, they're literally having to adapt to this as it's happening. Like all of a sudden we went from peacetime to we're in war, so, man, that is so unique. And you would go to war, Dan. You would end up in Afghanistan in 2004.
2004, I deployed with the 26th Marine Expeditionary Unit over to Afghanistan. We went on a MU strike group. We went over on 3 different ships: the USS Shreveport, the Wasp, and the Whidbey Island. And it took us about several months to get there after a limo stop to refuel and restock and all that good stuff. And docked in Qatar. I would say at the end of March of 2004, docked in Qatar, flew from Qatar over to Kandahar, Afghanistan. Again, end of March, early April timeframe. And that's where I was excited to go because the Taliban were responsible for what was going on, happened in 2001. I was like, this is my time to get some, and for all the lives that were lost on 9/11, I was, that was my time, and not just mine, but the unit's time to go over there and defend our country.
So 2 weeks in, Dan, you would suffer an injury. Would you tell us about that day and what happened?
Sure. So I was injured on April 24th, 2004. The vehicle I was in struck 2 improvised exploding devices, which resulted to losing my left leg below the knee, a back injury, a head injury. And it was a crazy moment because I was on a recon mission, going down into a canyon and then coming back out. There was one way in, one way out, and they must have planted the IEDs. They saw us going in, planted the IEDs, came back out, and that's when the whole incident occurred.
Wow.
And we were there just on a regular recon mission. There was an election going over there, so we were out there just scouting the area, picking points and finding out. Asking the locals, hey, do you know any Taliban activity? They're going to have an
Right.
election here soon, and just to clear things out so they can have a peaceful, fair election. And that's what happened on April 24th of 04. And yeah.
Wow. So what would happen from there, Dan, after the initial injury?
So after the initial blast, the blast happened. I looked down and I just saw my left leg was just below the knee was just mangled. They had to get me out, and there was small arms fire, so they had to be very careful to get me out,
Right.
get me covered, and they had to put me on the back of a Humvee because again we're in Afghanistan, and the terrain over there is very it's very there's mountains everywhere, and the terrain over there is hard to get around.
Okay.
So they had to put me on the back of a Humvee and drive me about, 45. It felt like days, but it was about 45 minutes to an hour to where they could land to medevac me
Right.
out and get me back to Kandahar
Okay.
to clean me out to get me on the next bird out of Kandahar to Untitled, Germany.
How long would you be in Germany, Dan, before you would come back to the States?
I was in Germany for almost a week.
Okay.
And in Germany, that's the hub where guys from Iraq are getting injured, guys from other parts of Afghanistan are getting injured, and that's the hub where everybody comes to fly out to come back to the States. And I remember being there for about a week. I remember calling my girlfriend to let her know, hey, I'm okay. I'm still out of it. I'm still, under medication. I just want to give a heads up that I'm injured. I don't know what's going on. I know I'll be back home. Same thing. I called my parents. My dad was like, "I'm buying a ticket. We're coming out there to be with you." I was like, "Don't." I mean, I'm coming back to the States.
Right.
Just let me, get cleaned up and what they need to do here. They did do a few more surgeries while I was in Lunstall, just to clean the leg, clean it off, and go a little bit higher of an amputation. And they flew us back from Germany after a week of that, and I was on a C1. I think it was a C-130, and this plane was packed from 3 gurneys high,
Oh my gosh.
front to back of this plane of guys from Iraq and Afghanistan. I mean, these are all injuries.
Wow.
These are
Oh my
amputations.
gosh.
These are arms, legs, burn victims, and it was just. I mean, it was a crazy ride that I remember. Guys screaming for morphine, guys, and it was an experience. But I remember just telling the nurse, just give me the morphine, let me pass out for this flight, and
Yeah.
which they did. They took care of you because these guys and me included were in so much pain. Even going in altitude, you can definitely feel, having an injury or whatnot. But going in altitude on the flight, you can feel more pain. And I just remember, it was a crazy experience. But I remember landing from Lunstall, landing back at Andrews Air Force Base. They brought you off, and I remember one of my old captains came to pick me up to ride in an ambulance
Oh my
from
gosh.
from Andrews Air Force Base to Bethesda. And he's the one that called my parents, he called my girlfriend, they
Wow.
set everybody up in hotels and whatnot.
Right.
And and I just remember that journey from Afghanistan to Lunstall to Bethesda National Naval Medical Center.
Wow. What would happen to you once back at the Naval Medical Center, Dan? Tell us about the early days and weeks of your recovery.
Yeah, so I remember being in a room with another veteran who's a good friend of mine that we still talk, and just jabbing each other back and forth. He's like, "What's your injury?" And he's called me a big baby because I just lost my tongue. And the guy next to me had both his arms amputated, at the elbow. And luckily he was a Marine too, so we kind of like teamed up on everybody else. But and the recovery. I mean, it was I underwent several more surgeries because coming back from Lunstall to Bethesda, I got another infection in the leg, so they had to clean out the infection, go a little bit higher. and luckily I had enough where they connect the tibia and fibula together, and wrap my remaining calf muscle around to create a buffer
Okay.
between my leg and the future prosthetic. But that took a longer time to heal. But yeah, I was in Bethesda for a good 4 months of surgeries and cleaning out and wound wash, wound care. Um, yeah, and then after about 4 months at Bethesda, I transferred over. This is when Walter Reed was separate from Bethesda. Now they're one big hospital now, in Bethesda, Maryland. But before it was Bethesda's, the Naval Hospital was Bethesda, and then Walter Reed was on Georgia Avenue in Washington, D.C. So I got in a van with other guys that were done with their, initial recovery to go to Walter Reed for physical therapy, for occupational therapy, and for prosthetics.
Okay. Dan, could you tell us a little bit about your mindset during this period of your recovery?
Well, first I was angry. I was upset because I felt like I left my guys over there. I felt, I remember being injured in Germany initially, being like, okay, I'm fine. Let me go back over there. Like I wanted to be back with my guys. But that, they wouldn't allow that. So initially I was angry. I was very upset. But then it came, once I got to Walter Reed and saw it was packed of all these, men and women coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan. And I thought this is where I'm going to recover now. And
right.
yeah, so that was my mindset until I got to Walter Reed and saw everybody else there doing the same thing as I was now. I mean, that was my new unit. Those were my new people I was going to serve with in a different way. But yeah, that's how I felt.
So when we met, Dan, one of the things you talked about was, as you got going, you were doing your physical therapy 2 times a day. Like you really went head first, into your recovery. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so I chose to go in the morning and come back for lunch, and then go back out in the afternoon and work out twice a day. One, because of the injury I had and the procedure they did took longer to recover from. I had to make sure my upper body was fine, my core was good, so when I was able to wear a prosthetic, that I would have good balance. Yeah, I chose to. I mean, you didn't have to. That was your choice. What you chose to do is what you choose to do. So I wanted to go work out twice a day for physical therapy and occupational therapy. And, I had a little bit of a faster recovery because of that. And I was able to, wear a prosthetic, about, I would say 6 to 7 months after my initial injury. And just getting off those crutches, getting out of that wheelchair and putting a leg on was one of the greatest accomplishments I think I've ever had.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible, Dan. You would very quickly, after this injury, I believe maybe even October of that year, you would go on and you would complete the Army 10-miler. Talk to us about this. We're talking we're going from this very severe catastrophic injury to, Germany, US, multiple surgeries, 2-a-day PT, and a few months later, you're running a race.
And even before the race was on Sunday. I just got my running prosthetic that Friday. I was digging in through old files and old pictures. I was like, I remember getting my running prosthetic that Friday, going for a little jog Saturday, and then going to 10 miles on that Sunday down in DC. But it was a cool experience. I didn't do it by myself. I did it with another group of other injured veterans that were like, you know what, we're putting a team together. This is what we're going to do. This is our mission, and we're going to.
That's so awesome.
And that's what we did. Our chief of physical therapy put the team together, and she motivated us, and we went out. We ran 10 miles, and we all finished. That was our goal, is to finish, and we all did it. And pain afterwards, but we didn't think about that. But yeah, we all finished together. It was one heck of an experience.
Completing that, and doing it with other people like that by your sides, other injured veterans. What did that do to your mindset? Completing that, seeing these other men and women next to you in this race succeeding. What did that do for you?
So I'm a left leg below the knee. I mean, there were guys, double legs doing it. I mean, and it just gave not just me, but other guys, we gave each other confidence to, to do it, to finish, and not only from each other, but from all the other racers from all over the countries coming to do that, the 10 miler. I mean, it was just a crazy experience getting support from the other runners and from your teammates. And um, it was one of my first and favorite races to do.
Oh my gosh, so awesome. Dan, I want to transition here a little bit and talk about your education. So, you would go back to school, you'd get an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree. Tell us about your school experience and what that was like going back into college.
That was another chapter in my life. Once I got retired in 2005 from the Marines, after I got my final prosthetics from Walter Reed, I transitioned out back to the civilian life, and I was like, what am I going to do now? I'm 21, 22 years old. I'm a disabled veteran. What am I going to do? What's there to do? So luckily enough, I did my research, and I had good social workers at Walter Reed that hey, this is the benefits you're entitled to now. There's the VOC rehab from VA. There's the post 9/11 chapter that you can use for your school. And I said, why not? I mean, it's free. It's I just have to do my part and register for classes and do it. So that's what I did. I registered for. I didn't jump in at full steam ahead right away. I did. I went part time at a community college, and I went full time. I was working as well in the field of criminal justice. So I took a part time probation officer aide at one of the counties I lived in. I did that while going to school, and then graduated, got my AA in the criminal justice, and then I decided to go for my bachelor's at Kutztown University. And same thing. I started out real slow, then I picked it up full time, and then I got my BA in criminal justice.
That's terrific. That's terrific, Dan. What did that mean to you, getting that BA in criminal justice?
So it was another accomplishment that I had. It was a goal that I set for myself, and just like with the races, it's one of my missions. It's a goal I set for myself, and luckily I had the support of my family behind me, and all the resources like the GI Bill to use, and it was another accomplishment in my book.
So cool. So Dan, one of the things I'm always most impressed about you is your give back. You constantly are giving back to the community in multiple ways, and I really want to talk about some of these different things. You would spend time working for a congressman, a senator, probation officer aide. Like, you did a lot of different kind of civil service, stuff for a period there. How was that? What was that like for you to start giving back in that way after service?
It was my continue to serve. I did once I left the Marines, left the service. It was my way of giving back and continuing to serve, continue to help people. That's what I like to do. I love to help people. Figure out, if they have a problem, figure out a solution for them. When I was with the Congresswoman's office, I was a veterans constituent service rep. So all the veterans having issues down in her district, I would, help find a way if they weren't getting their benefits. Okay, let's figure this out. We'll do a few phone calls and see what's going on, what's being held up. And it just feels good to help people that are having issues and get the guys their benefits that they are entitled to. If there's like a holdup somewhere, it just again, it's the service, it's helping, it's the feeling you get when you help people, and that's what I enjoy the most.
You would go back to Walter Reed, Dan, and you would help him with research with prosthetics, gait analysis, things like that. Talk to us a little bit about that.
So that's something I always get dragged into. So I'm lucky enough that I live close enough to Walter Reed where if I need prosthetic care or new legs or feet or whatever I need, I can go down there and get the care, get whatever, set up an appointment and get seen by the prosthetist down there. And every time I'm down there, I always get drug into why my legs are being made. I'll have they'll have interns or college men and women doing research papers or doing something that they need some data on. So
Right.
I'm always like, okay, I'll help out. It gives a few hours of instead of just sitting, watching TV or reading a magazine or something, I'll go help out. And it's pretty cool. It's very interesting stuff that they do. Like
I
with the gait
bet.
analysis, with the load bearing on prosthetics, you wear all different types of prototype feet, and you just, you just pound them and try to break them and see, what they can hold and what they can put up with.
Wow.
And all different types of research that they just need data back on. And it's pretty cool that, I can be a part of that to help, whatever they're looking for, whatever data,
Right.
whatever, updates they're looking to do for, future veterans that are going to be wearing these different devices.
Yeah, that's terrific. And again, like what a great way, like you're directly impacting your community, those brothers and sisters. Absolutely terrific. Dan, talk to us about your wife and boys.
Oh, yes. Okay. So,
Because we've got so much, with them and the community give back you do with your sons, and we've got a
I
lot
love
here.
it. I'm a big family man.
Yeah.
I love my wife and my kids. I'm always involved with everything, anything family.
Yeah.
So I met my wife in high school in 1998. We were, Jesus, freshman, sophomore, around that time. And we met at a football game, and we started dating, which led to getting in, dating through. I joined the service. She went to Penn State. We continued to date. I got injured. She was there with me when I got injured. She was there during my recovery. She's been there through my whole
Yeah.
time of going through all this stuff. And then we ended up getting engaged, and then we got married in 2007. And we have two beautiful boys, very active boys, Luke and Ben. Luke is 10, Ben is 6. They're very, very, very active boys. So yeah, I got to keep up with those kids.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And you are quite active with them and giving back. You coach little league baseball, football. Talk to us about coaching those teams.
Oh, that's one of my pure joys. I love doing with the kids being out there with them, running around with them. This season, I'm coaching t-ball for my youngest. I'm assisting majors with my oldest, and I just love being out there with the kids. And they see this guy with one leg coming out as their coach, and they're like, wow. Then you talk to them about that stuff, and then you say, okay, who wants to race me? Who thinks they can beat a guy with one leg? And all these kids are like, yeah, and they get all excited. So we just have to have fun with it, and which I do. I love coaching. I have a lot of experience to give these kids.
Yeah.
I play football for the Wounded Warrior football team. I play baseball. I played softball for the Wounded Warrior amputee softball team. I ended up playing in Japan on their baseball team. So I just have a lot of experience and knowledge to give to these kids. And most of the biggest thing I tell them is to have fun at what you're doing. If you're not having fun, then you're not gonna really succeed. So if you go out there and have fun and goof around and do your best, and nothing can stop them.
So I would imagine here, Dan, that you get quite a lot out of this for yourself, for your own individual recovery. How has it helped you, push forward in your life and just general recovery from, injuries of service, being able to do all these different things, being able to give back, on, whether it's again, like helping people within your state with issues or just breaking it down to your family, to your community, to the boys in the team. How has giving back like that helped?
I'm not looking for when I do stuff like this. I'm not looking for anything in return. Giving back is just something I like to do. I mean, it's just something. It's my nature. I mean, I don't go out and seek it. It's just something I have to do, because I mean, when I was injured, there was people by my side, coming to help me, coming to give me resources, being there for me. So I kind of want to, pay it back, pay it forward to, okay, people were there and during the tough times that I had, I'm going to be
Right.
there for giving back and helping out anybody that I can.
So something else that's a huge part of your life, Dan, that we talked about was your relationship with dogs, in many different capacities. And I was wondering if we could kind of start out by talking or having you tell us about Wally.
Sure. This could be the best part of the interview right here. About dogs.
I'm very excited.
So I am a huge dog lover, any type of dog. But my first dog I had was Wally, and Wally I got from America's Vet Dogs in 2008, and he has been helped me and by my side since um, 20 last October, where he passed away at the age of 14. But he has been there, with me during some tough times that I had going through all different transitions in my life, and again, if I'm like running or working out a lot, if I have sores on my leg, that Wally's there to help out, do whatever he wants to help me out. But yeah, he has been there and my sidekick for 14 years,
Wow.
and we saw the impact that Wally had on my life, my kids' lives, and my family's. That we decided that one of the things we're going to do is be a rescue family and go out and rescue um, several other dogs that we had.
That's absolutely terrific. And that would lead you into a Pedigree commercial. Talk to us
Yes,
about that,
yes.
Dan.
So what a crazy another crazy experience. Okay, so there was a casting call put out by Pedigree that was looking for a veteran, an amputee, and someone who liked dogs. I was like, oh my God, this is like they are asking me to do
Right?
this. They are calling my name to come out and do this. So I put my name in, and I told them, I did the whole casting gig. You go, you
Yeah.
interview, and you send in audition tapes, and you interview with the producers and directors, and they loved it. And I went out to Los Angeles. I filmed for 3 days. I filmed for 3 days for a 15-second spot on TV. A great commercial. If you didn't see it, it's a true. It's not a fake. It's not fake in any means. I go in there looking for a dog that's been through a lot, a dog that's been battered and beaten and is sick. And we kind of help each other out, and we've been through both tough times together, and we meet, and that's the dog I find and I want to take care of. And it was a true story. I ended up really bringing the dog back from Los
Oh
Angeles.
my gosh.
I mean, it was a really sick pup. And we gave her the best life as we can. We only had her for about a year and a half, and we just spoiled the heck out of her.
Yeah.
And gave her as many treats as she wanted. We took care of her, took her, by the water, by the street, anything that we could to give her the last, few
Right.
months of her life, the best that we can. And once she passed, me and my wife were like, all right, this is something that we love to do. We love to see the kids, see how they, teach the kids about, how much we love animals and how to take care of them and how to bring in, different rescues. And that's something that we ended up doing. And we ended up rescuing after her name was Maggie. After she passed, we ended up rescuing an Amish farm dog, Maisie. That was when we got her, she was I think 5 or 6, and she was an Amish farm breeder. She was just used for breeding, and once she couldn't have babies anymore, she was on the kill sheet. And the rescue organization that we went with, actually go into the Amish farms and get these dogs out of there, and then find families for them that they can take care of. And we ended up doing that with Maisie, a beautiful yellow lab, and we took care of her. And she recently passed. I think a couple months ago she passed away, but she ended up being real sick too. And again, we took care of her, spoiled her, and she loved being on the couch. She didn't like going for walks, so we made her spot on the couch, and that's what she wanted to do, and that's what she did.
Oh my gosh. Dan, you shared with us you're currently working on a children's book concerning dogs. Would you talk to us about that?
Sure. So one of the things I love to do is read books to my kids, like children's books. I love children's books, and one of the things I'm working on now is a series of children's books about dogs, about the different types of dogs, like the service dog, a owner surrender dog, different types of rescue dogs,
Right.
just to give the kids like what my kids have been through experience about these types of dogs, to give the whole community and all the little readers out there, a kind of snapshot of what these dogs are and how the effect
Right.
how the effect you can have on on the dogs and bring them into a good family.
That is so very cool. And you're also working on a chapter in a book that your vet is doing, correct?
Yeah, about Wally, about Wally,
Wally.
and how his service, his service to me, but service to country, and how he helped, not just me, but tons of
Right.
people.
That's so cool. We're so excited, to watch as that stuff progresses, to see that. Dan, let's talk about your fitness. I know it's, obviously a very big part of your life. How has fitness changed your recovery?
Oh my God, fitness. That's something I was always physically active. In high school, I played baseball, I played volleyball. In the Marines, you had to be physically fit. But once I got injured and on medication, it just flipped everything of gaining
Yeah.
weight, eating crap food because you couldn't because of the medication. You're craving,
Yeah.
all these carbs and salts and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But once I got off that medication, I mean, I was like, this is it. I got to change everything, change my lifestyle, and that's really when the fitness came back again into my life. And I really had no excuses because they had different prosthetics for all the fitness, anything that you wanted to do. So I had no excuse. Oh, my leg, I can't do it. So, I mean, I had nothing to blame. So I again, my first race was the Army 10 miler, and it just took off from there. I was like, wow, if I can do that, what else can I do?
Yeah.
So I started participating in all different events. I've since 2007, I've done over 30 triathlons,
Wow. Oh my
completed
gosh.
six marathons, um, different adventure races, different charity events, charity races. And that's something I found, something that I love to
Oh
do.
my
Um,
gosh.
and
Wow.
again, to do this stuff, you should be physically fit to do
Yeah.
this. So one of the things I love is going, if I'm working out by myself, I'll have my music. If I'm working out with a team, I'm working out with a group of other like-minded people that just love to
Totally.
sweat it out and grind it.
Wow. That is so cool, Dan. Um, I'm going to put you a little bit on the spot here. Out of all these races and different things like that you've done, is there one that stands out more than the rest for you?
So it's not really a race, but it has something to do with coaching. When I
Yeah.
was a part of the Wounded Warrior softball team, they put on this event called Kids Camp. So all these amputee players bring in a bunch of kids from different hospitals that have amputees amputations as well. And one of my favorite things is to bring these kids in and teach them not only the game of softball or baseball, but just like how you don't have to be ashamed of what your body looks like or the disability that you have. And
That's awesome. Yeah.
if they look up to you and see the things that you can do, they're like, wow,
Right.
this is like these possibilities are endless for me. And it's just really cool to go out there, with my teammates and teach these kids, the different sports, and just to see the smile on their faces, I think is one of the coolest things. I think, one of the events that I really enjoyed.
That's terrific. Thank you for sharing that with us. Um, Dan, you've been a Cal veteran athlete for over 5 years now. How did you first learn about Cal? Was it through, was it Walter Reed, or where did you?
So I learned about Cal Catch a Lift through one of my teammates,
Okay.
and he said, I was like, how do you like, where do you work out? How do you work out? What do you do? And he's like, oh, Catch a Lift. They take they'll you just pick a gym and they'll sponsor you. They're pay all the good stuff. I was like, oh, get out. So I had again, no excuse to
Yeah,
get my butt to the pick a gym. And I actually just hit my 6-year anniversary mark with the gym I'm at currently now, which is pretty cool. I went to
that
that
is. Oh
gym
my
a whole
gosh.
year, and then Catch a Lift picked up the 5 that I've been there with them. Um, yeah, it's again, it's just through other veterans and other guys who are in the program. They talk about it, how wonderful it is, how great it is, whether they're paying gyms or equipment or anything
Right.
that they give you that resource to go out there and do something that you're passionate about.
That's terrific. So you've been in the program a long time. How have you seen Catch a Lift impact your life personally, but even broader than that, just, other brothers and sisters that you've seen come through the program?
Well, I've seen a lot of guys transformations. I think some of these guys who have been in the program just get off of stop drinking, stop smoking, stop doing their medications, and Catch a Lift will give you the equipment or pay your gym, and it totally flips their lifestyle like
Yeah.
upside down, and that's really cool to see some of these guys just go out there and saying, okay, I'm going to make a change in my life. I'm going to make a change in my lifestyle. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to work out. And some of these guys are really excelling and kicking butt, which is really, really cool to see.
It is. It's so awesome. And I have one last question here for you today, Dan. What does it mean to you to be a Catch a Lift Fun veteran athlete?
It means a lot. It means one of the things I think Catch a Lift does is keeps you accountable to get to the gym or to use the equipment.
Yeah.
I mean, these are donors' dollars, and you need to get out there and show the progress that you're making for all these donors out there supporting you. And Catch a Lift provides all the resources, all the networking, everything, but it's up to you to get your butt to the gym and work out.
Well said, Dan. First of all, thank you so much for your service to our great country, and thank you for all you do to give back to our country still, to your community, to your family. It's just absolutely remarkable. That's it for this week's episode of Coach's Corner. We will return next Wednesday at 1 Eastern Time with another new episode. Thank you, Dan, again, for sharing your story and your light with us all. Absolutely terrific. Huge thank you to ClearBridge for all your support of all things Catch a Lift. Thank you to Lynn Coughlin, Henry Pomper, and Kaylee Nasiri for all the work you do to produce this podcast and put it out on a weekly basis. And we want to say a huge thank you to the entire Catch a Lift team. And until next week, keep it real and stay Cal strong.